Coming up right here at Circle Debate Podcast, episode 41, part 1. It's a two-part episode, ladies and gentlemen. Part 1, we're going to have two special guests. We're going to have George Mckay from the Straight Talk Wrestling Podcast, and Kenneth Kofi Weedston will be joining us from our brother from another mother, the Dirty Heelz Podcast.
We got beef.
We got a debate.
We got chicken, too.
We got two debates coming up right now.
I don't want no beef. I'm just
Two debates coming. On part 1, we're going to debate why does Kofi hates the Brother Club. We are going to recap AEW's Dynamite, and we're also going to discuss MLW's historic match that happened as well with George Mckay. Part 2, we'll have the owner from the Wrestling Guy store, David, will be joining us. We'll be discussing about the commercial. So the commercials are going to be released today, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure that you don't go anywhere. Tune in right now for episode 41, part 1 begins now. Welcome everyone to the Circle Debate Podcast, but it's not only Circle Debate Podcast, it's Circle of Heelz Straight Talk Wrestling Podcast. So it's all three, it's all combined, ladies and gentlemen. The League of Extraordinary Podcast. The host of Devious One, I've been seeing here alongside with my brothers from another mothers, my family. Here's my family, everyone right here. So first, let me go and introduce my co-host. I have the one and only CK1, Chris Kennedy, and with the 4 minutes of heat glasses, of course. And also we have the Carbonation Cabron, Los Cabrones, yes. What the fuck is that? Are you at Bray Wyatt's house or what the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize you have that shit on. Is that real? I don't know. It's not real. That's Mr. MGC, Matthew Steamboat.
What's up?
Today, we have two of our brothers from the League of Extraordinary Podcast. So let me go ahead and introduce the host of Straight Talk Wrestling Podcast, and that is our brother from another mother, that is George Mckay. How are you, brother? Welcome to the show. Finally get you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Finally, the 6 has touched down. T-Dot represent. Canada's in the building.
There you go.
I'm honored to be here. I really am. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the invite. I can't wait to talk wrestling with you guys.
Oh, definitely. And also, we have our other brother from another mother, and that's right. He gives the people what they want, alongside with Brother Bo, and that is Kofi Weedston from the Dirty Heelz Podcast. What is going on, my brother?
Yeah.
Too sweet, bro. Too sweet.
I love to be here with y'all guys. Too sweet. I love to be here with you guys. I love it. This is my second home, so I love it.
You know you're welcome anytime, both of you guys. If you guys want to come in and talk wrestling, let's do it. You know, that's why we're called Circle Debate for a reason.
I got the mac and cheese ready to go and the fruit roll-ups.
I was about to talk pizza places in Manhattan because I need to get out there one of these days when it's not.
We out here for you. We out here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start it off. I'm pretty sure everyone saw AEW Dynamite, right? Like last night, everybody saw it?
I literally watched it like this morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to first let's go overall the whole show. So I'll go ahead and ask our guests. So I'll start with you, Mr. Mckay. What are your thoughts about the show? What intrigued you? Like, what matches did intrigue you? And where do you see, and the follow-up question is, where do you see with this inner circle segment? What do you see with this Bullet Club segment? What the fuck is going on in AEW? Talk to us.
Well, you know what? If you obviously everyone here watched the show, they know I'm an advocate of women's wrestling, so I got to give it up to Thunder Rosa and Leah Hirsch.
Definitely. That
match for me was the match of the night. Thunder Rosa has been a former guest on my show. She is a fantastic human being, and Leah Hirsch is just dangerous. She's like 4'1", but she can destroy you. Yeah, she could destroy you 50 ways from Sunday. So that was match of the night for me. Inner Circle, shocker. Sammy Guevara, like basically calling everybody out in their shit. Not a surprise. We all knew this was coming. We knew he was going to be the one to leave the Inner Circle. As soon as MJF joined, the decline started. Once he got past Matt Hardy, that was the case. And the Bullet Club stuff, you know, I just sat down with a member of the actual Bullet Club. Is that wrong to say? Am I in trouble here? Maybe
no.
You've ever won
Go
I
right
just
ahead.
sat down
right.
with Chase Owens and I asked him point blank in my interview. I said, "What's going on? Is this a work? Is this heat?" Because Tama, he's hot about all of this, man. He's all over every podcast that he can get on, and he's calling Kenny Omega out. How you going to wear a Bullet Club New Japan shirt on Impact Wrestling while rocking the AEW title? You look like a retarded stepchild of all the wrestling products put together. You gotta pick one and stay with it. Like, all I could say is that when the Bullet Club does touch down and already New Japan is working their way in, and that main event was also a barn burner honorable mention as match of the night, I'm still going to stick with the women's one for sure. But all I can say is that when Tama makes his appearance on AEW, and believe me, he will. I don't know when it's going to be, but he will. Some other members of the Bullet Club will be there. Maybe Chase will touch down with him. I asked Chase point blank, I'm like, "Do you follow the AEW product?" And all he did was smile and shake his head. So he's definitely paying attention. Everyone at New Japan is paying attention. So I got to say that right now, I don't know what's happening, but it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. This is something we've all dreamed about as kids. We sat down with our friends playing with our wrestling figures saying, "Man, wouldn't it be great if Sting faced Hogan from WWF back in like 88 when he mattered and he wasn't a steroid junkie or just running his restaurant?" But it's a great time to be a wrestling fan, and AEW is the premier product next to an honorable mention being Impact, because those are the shows that are cross-branding right now. So I have to say that whenever you watch on Tuesdays or you watch on Wednesdays, as a wrestling fan, you're going to be entertained. And the one thing about it that's great is that eyes are on all the product. So if you're only an AEW mark, which a lot of people out there are, they think they know everything, but they've only been watching wrestling for a year and a half.
Yes.
They only watch AEW, but now they're being forced to watch Impact because they want to watch Kenny because they have a hard on for him, and that's great because he is a talent. But let's not forget that wrestling has been around a lot longer than AEW. Yes, we're happy to have them here, but say what you want to say, without Vince McMahon, none of us would be talking because wrestling would not exist, and I don't give a fuck what anybody else says.
There you go. I love it. I love it. I fucking love it. The GOAT right there. That's right. Mr. Weedston, the floor is yours.
I like AEW. I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I always give it a thumbs up just because it's their first year and they always do something a little different. I do like the little invasion, but for me, I don't understand the whole Bullet Club angle. I just don't like. For me, I just don't understand why Kenta wore the Bullet Club shirt and then Kenny Omega had the Bullet Club shirt on the other day. So that kind of confused me. And then you hear the Bullet Club in New Japan talking. So for me, I like the Bullet Club, but I don't like the gimmicky shit that goes around it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to be a faction, let's be a faction. Let's figure this out. But like, if you're not Bullet Club, if you're not that faction, don't, you're out of it. You actually got kicked out of the Bullet Club. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go back to that, before he came to the States, it did pretty much.
Yeah. So like, I don't really get that, but I do like the Moxley beef. And I think I'm more entertained with Darby Allin and Sting, between Darby Allin and Sting, Moxley. And I really like the Kenny Omega, the Hangman Page and Matt Hardy. I want to see where this goes. Maybe Matt Hardy's trying to form a faction or something. I don't know, but
would that be the drunken stoned faction? Is that what that would be? The stoned faction? Just saying.
Well, that would be Jeff Hardy's Is that faction? Would that be? Is that
well, now, hold on now. Jeff Hardy's found God. Let's show
I
him.
know.
Respect,
I'm kidding. I'm riding that sober train myself, so I ain't trying to derail another man's.
But nah, that's mostly what I pay attention to right now in AEW. Because last night I flipped back and forth because I had to see the last match, so I flipped back and forth.
I understand because you still have NXT at the same time too.
Yeah, I always try to catch NXT. I can't even lie.
And MLW on YouTube at 7 p.m. Leo Rush, double goal, baby.
Which we will touch that right now. We'll touch it in a few on that because I want to speak to you about that. But yeah, moving on before CK1, your thoughts.
What up, dude? So okay, I don't know where to start. Usually we could start from the top of the card and go to the end of the card, but I'll just touch on subjects that come to mind. Yeah, Layla Hirsch is a bad mofo. Legit Layla Hirsch. I think she was like an Olympic wrestler or on her way before the pandemic. She's only like 21 years old, 4'1", born in Russia, raised in Jersey. That's all kinds of tough just just right there. Yeah, she's gonna not job out per se because her losses are impressive, but she's gonna lose a few before she moves up and start winning a few against tougher.
I mean, but talent. I think I don't mean to cut you off. I think sometimes those jobbers are pretty good. because
I don't want to call her a jobber because
because they get to work with good people, and you can still have that on your resume. Like, hey, I lost to this good person. So, like, sometimes I hate that word jobber.
Yeah. Well, jobber does definitely mean like someone who just puts over like Hogan in 10 seconds, which is not what she's doing. She had a long, lengthy, storied match with one of the best in the business. She probably earned more respect in that loss than she would over a quick loss to a bigger name or a quick win over a smaller name.
Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
I mean, no pun intended hating on her, but come on. I mean, shit.
They're building up the adoration and respect amongst the fans. They're going to be like, man, she put on a spirited performance against Thunder Rosa. She lost. She comes back. She beats, I don't know, Rebel Reba, whatever. Something like, move her up. She's probably not even ranked in the top 15. But yeah, definitely keep your eyes on Layla for sure. Thunder Rosa, like Georgia mentioned, best in the business. The Matt Hardy thing is, it's good-ish because they're trying to move Adam Page around. They don't know where to put him yet. He still hinted with connections to Dark Order when we saw him leave the bar and they had that awkward thing. He signed that contract with Matt Hardy, and I think the Matt Hardy thing is he's kind of filling the Brody Lee gap of making fun of the WWE business model of bad contracts and shitty managers. I think that's what they're doing is, like how Robert Stone was making fun of Tony Khan, Brody Lee's making fun of Vince. We unfortunately lost Brody Lee, replaced it with Matt Hardy doing the gimmicks, give me 30%. I think that's kind of what they're doing. Because I know when he was with Top Flight, he was talking about like, oh yeah, you can totally go on Twitch, you can go on YouTube, just give me 30%. That is absolutely a rib at the bullshit they pulled on Selena Vega. That's where Adam Page lands. I don't know where, because I think they're just moving around to find a spot. The Sammy inner circle thing, I'm very excited about this because, I'm going to say this every episode until it happens because I can't trust every fan to go back and watch old videos. And this segment from beginning to end to Sammy walking out of the arena reinforces my theory that Sammy and MJF are in this together and they're going to take shit over.
Woo!
Oh, that's a bold statement.
Still a double swerve.
It's a bold statement.
Still happening. It happened last week. There was hints of me reinforced this theory where there was more conflict. This conflict is so over the top and obvious that Sammy's leaving the inner circle and hates MGF that they are definitely working together. And it's just a matter of time before we see them pull the wool over everybody's eyes, including Jericho. There's no fucking way. Sammy's not going face. He's too good of an asshole to be a good guy. Jericho will be beloved no matter what he does, and he's more valuable as a face than Sammy is as a face. That's just the direction I see it going. Come back to whatever episode this number is. I'll say that every episode until it happens.
Oh, shit. All right. That's a bold statement.
Same thing with Darby Allin and Sting. We are going to see the first ever Sting heel turn when he turns on Darby Allin with a baseball bat to the freaking head. That is happening. There's no way that does not happen. Sting has said he has nothing left to prove, but he's back anyways. There's one avenue he's never pursued.
If that happens, Chris, I'll buy a Bullet Club shirt.
Get ready.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a Sting fan too, okay? And I as much as I would love to see that happen, I don't know if I feel your vibe on that. I agree with where you're going, and I'll be honored to watch every episode every week and have you reinforce all the things that you're going to repeat. Ivan, just scrap your intro and just have that be the intro. I said this last episode, but
I'm going to say this every week until it happens.
But I don't see. Sorry to interrupt and cut you
off. You're all
good, I just don't see Sting turning heel, especially when if they wanted to turn Sting heel, they would have done it back in '96. We all know that's the direction they were going to go, and then they flipped it last minute and they put Hogan in that spot because at the end of the day, Sting as a lone wolf, it makes more logical sense to have Darby Allin turn on Sting. That makes logical sense because Sting still stays good, and then he can still put the baseball bat in Allen's face and still have the Sting street cred. So I see Darby Allin turning heel before I see Sting turning heel. But I respect your opinion. I just don't see it that way.
And the light that I'm seeing, the darkness that I'm seeing in this is that Sting is back for some reason. He has nothing left to prove as far as his career goes because we know he's a legend. He's never had a heel turn. Darby is kind of the chosen dark child. He's the up and comer.
Tom also. Darby has Tom also.
Yeah, more people are gonna just. There's gonna be. It's a bigger shocker, and I think it's a more interesting storyline. And Sting is a lone wolf. You did say that yourself. So why would he team up with the young up and comer that's just like him at that age, if he wasn't going to put him in his place by taking his head off with the Stinger swing? I want to see, on top of being a conspiracy theorist, I would love to see that. That goes kind of 2 and 2 with my theory that they're putting Edge on NXT and taking Finn Balor's title to be the anti-Sting ratings machine on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
So I think Edge winning the title from Finn Balor being the NXT guy is going to be direct competition for Sting being the lead heel on or face, whether they do that with Sting or not. I think those two are kind of going to be the new Wednesday Night Wars, just at least for the duration of Mania season.
Okay.
I see Pete Dunne as a better off opponent for Edge. Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor.
Yeah, okay, so I mean whoever has the NXT
burger.
title. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoever has the NXT title is what I mean, not just Finn.
I think it's going to be Pete, honestly.
Yeah.
All right.
That very easily could be because Finn is had it for a while, and Pete's only had the UK heavyweight title, and that was a while back.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, and then the Bullet Club thing. Yeah, I kind of feel what I'll make it quick. I feel what everyone's saying. We don't know if it's a work shoot, if it's a shoot work. It is. If it is a work, it is very NWO versus Wolfpack. There's dissension amongst the ranks. Are you in? Are you out? We don't know if you're red and white or black and red. If it is a shoot, I think it's a lot of people that may rightfully be upset that they're not getting respected because it might be a lot of people's babies that are not in the picture right now. I know Tama is a founding member. He's not in the picture. Obviously, AJ Styles was kind of teasing it in WWE, and he was thwarted by Kenny Omega, who took over leadership, and that leadership's been since moved on. So if it is a work, okay, you have to be a supermarket to know where everybody is right now. You have to have watched 5 different companies to know who's vying for membership. If it is a shoot, then it might be for clout. It might be like Thomas getting ignored and he feels disrespected that he's not on a major network right now and thinks that he deserves it. He probably does. So those are the 2 avenues you have with this whole work shoot. Is it real? Is it not? Twitter beef, cross promotion fiasco we have going on that it is,
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's pretty much it, man. That's all I got. There's no questions or answers solved on this week's Dynamite. It's just leading up to Revolution, but we already know that card's probably 90% already booked. So these are just go home shows.
All right, Mr. Steamboat.
All right, here we go. I want to especially want your attention on this, Mr. Mckay, sir.
Sorry.
Well, as you could see my background.
Let's talk about her, bro, because I saw her name on TNT and I am excited.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with Maki Ito. You had Thunder Rosa on your show, and of course, there's some unfinished business with Thunder Rosa, and I'm a member of the Ito Respect Army. Thunder Rosa took that title away from Maki Ito, and she never had her rubber match, so the chickens are coming home to roost in this tournament. Thunder Rosa's moved on to the next round, and of course, Maki Ito wants payback from that loss of the International Princess Championship.
Well, you can't get payback with Thunder Rosa's boot in your ass. So I don't know how I mean, don't get me wrong.
Thunder Rosa's boot versus Maki Ito's steel forehead.
It's still real to me, damn it.
It's still real to him, right?
I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. All I know is that if Thunder Rosa doesn't pull this one off, I'm not gonna make a bold statement like Kofi. But what I will do is come on the next show and I will say how much I love your hair. That's what I will do.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I will do. I will come on publicly and I will say, I love what he's done with his hair. And then I'll stand all the way back here with a stereo, say anything, and I will play an 80s rock.
Your eyes. Your eyes.
No, I'm going to play Meatloaf. I will
yes.
Love, but I won't do that.
Wow.
He's like, there's too many white people on this show. I got to go.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to be a great match.
I
feel you
on
on that completely. I just don't know how it's going to play out. They're both at the top of their game, and there's a lot to prove, and I agree with you. But all I know is that one person is going to be walking out with one boot because one is going to be firmly shoved in somebody else's hole. Slide it in there.
Love it.
If you know about this is like a big thing over in Japan. Except this also goes up asses. This is the I forgot the word for this, but it's also a thing in China and Korea as well.
I don't know what that is, but I'll take your word for it.
It's like a ninja thing. The ninjas always do it to each other too.
Naruto.
Yeah.
Well, look, with this whole Bullet Club situation, it is a shoot. I think for me, okay, remind everyone once again, now that the doors are open, New Japan does have a strong style here in the States. And remind you also that New Japan's talent that are in Japan, like Tama Tonga and the Gorillas of Destiny, they live in Florida. So they are going to come to AEW no matter what. Yeah,
George said that. He seemed very confident that it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to be a civil war of a Bullet Club. Either that's what's going to fucking happen. Either that's going to happen, or they're all going to come rejoice. We told you we had this all planned for fucking years, and we're going to take over every promotion, and that's what it looks like right now. I mean, now that God went back to Japan, and now they got the belts back away from Tai Chi and Sex Hombre. And now you have the Good Brothers have the Impact titles. The Young Bucks has the AEW World Tag titles. I mean, AJ has nothing yet. Finn with the belt. So it's like shit. It's all becoming in fruition. I mean, it is going to happen eventually that they're all going to come together. And I said this probably before. I said eventually down the road there will be a super show with all these promotions, and that's even including MLW, Ring of Honor, even AAA. It's going to come in fruition. But it all depends who's available and what talent's available. And the biggest question is going to be from every promotion. I mean, do you want your top talent, your top star to be, do you want him to lose or her or she to lose? That's always going to be the biggest question mark. Who's going to look the best out of everything? But I don't think that should matter. I think what matters is that you're pulling off that's something that Vince McMahon never even thought of doing. And so that's something that they should be grateful for that. Who cares who goes over or not in a promotion? Doesn't matter. The one thing that matters is you came all into one without even arguing, just going back to the old school territory days. And that's the thing, the beauty of it, if they're able to do that. If they do that, I'll be so happy about it. Because
Ivan, we just became best friends.
Woo!
Oh shit, we're just making friendships this week,
Why
man.
can't we be friends?
Me, Matt, and Mr. Everything are like homeboys. Now you and George. This is just turning into this though.
Hey man, this is the League of Extraordinary Podcasts, man.
Catalina Wine Mixer, motherfuckers.
And me and Kofi been down since day one, bro. We've been
definitely day one,
and Harlem representing all day long.
Definitely day one.
But what city are you in, George?
Toronto, actually. Okay.
Oh, Toronto. You are literally in the Harlem of Canada.
I am, but I'm
Shout
actually
out to Snow, by the way.
I'm in like the suburb. I'm in like the suburb.
You got a local hero, Snow, coming out of, I don't know what the neighborhood's called, but the Jamaican area. That's a real thing, man,
A licky boom boom down.
Yeah, dude. That's it,
Informer.
Dude.
Really? Out of all the great music we have coming out of this fucking country, you got to pull out Snow?
A licky boom boom down.
I agree with him.
Come on.
You could have said Drake.
I know.
Drake
would have been acceptable. Bro.
I could have gone Nickelback. I
could have went with Cardinal Official, and I would have been okay with it.
Man. I agree.
Licky boom boom down.
All right, Ivan, thank you so much for having me on, bro. I got to bounce.
So I want some framing especially for like people understanding like the whole thing with like Japanese factions and especially the Bullet Club. So my background's just isn't being random. So the whole thing kind of like Japan's whole love of factions kind of stems from like all the way back to like 1870s Japan. So what's behind me is the Shinsengumi, one of the most legendary and beloved factions in Japan. They name their restaurants after them. And there's like multiple split offs. There's like the Kihetai, the Roshigumi, and similar to that kind of storylines, kind of what we're seeing with the Bullet Club. They have multiple faction split offs. They have a lot of different leaders and members. You even see that in the Yakuza, them taking out their like the whole when Kenny takes out AJ Styles to take over leadership. That's a very like Yakuza style, takeover. When the younger guy kills the previous leader, we see that in the Mafia. It's the same. It's that like crime movie style of storytelling. Well,
I mean, that's what it looks like now. If you really think about it, that's what it is now. Just pretty much different organization, But so I want to touch one thing as well. See, I just forgot. Okay, at the end of this, all this shit that is going down with the whole Bullet Club situation, I still believe, and I know I might get heat for this. I think at the end, who's one person who's gonna dethrone Kenny Omega is Hangman Page. It's gonna be him.
It's the redemption story.
It's gonna be his redemption.
They're keeping him babyface.
I'm looking at George. George, do you agree? Disagree? Talk to me. I still feel like
he doesn't like it.
Or
0-3.
Listen,
all right, I want to hear it.
I love Hangman Page. I just don't like the way he's been built up since day one with AEW. They've born and bred this dude to be the man who was going to take the title. Then last minute, they made the change and gave it to Jericho. Then from Jericho, they went to Moxley, and they made Page look like a drunk.
Yes.
And not in a flattering light. And for anybody that is fighting that battle, anybody that's fighting that battle is not something to be made fun of. It's like making fun of suicide or making fun of drugs. It's just, it wasn't the right move. And I stated it on my show. It was poor taste. Kofi and I had a one-on-one, and I said that I said that in an episode. Go back and watch it. I said that was poor taste. You're gonna pull out something that people battle with on a daily basis, and you're gonna make it a running joke. And then this is gonna be the man to dethrone Kenny Omega. Listen, Ivan, we're still best friends, but I hope that doesn't happen. If you're right, and you are definitely the devious one, because that is some devious shit. But I got to be honest with you, Hangman Page dethroning Kenny Omega after being played off as a drunk for 5 months.
Longer, man. It's been since he was in the elite.
Man. Okay, so my bad. Then
you're all good, man. It's AEW.
No, I get it. It's all good. But rounding off to a year, that's just a poor taste of a storyline. And it stopped being funny a minute after it happened.
Yeah.
It was
I can agree with that 100%.
You know, George, it was a completely different thing in New Japan when the first Kenny Omega Adam Page match, and it was a completely different atmosphere. In the front row was one of the biggest pop stars in Japan, Matsui Jirina from AKB48, and she's holding a Kenny Omega like stuffed animal. Kenny Omega was a super baby face in that match. He was coming out wearing a Japanese firefighter's jacket, and like the crowd was all over him. Hangman Page was like an enforcer, a muscle, you know, just the silent, you know, nasty guy with a different theme song, and he was coming out with Cody, and it was basically Cody and Hangman and antagonizing Kenny in that match, and Kenny was flying everywhere. Way different atmosphere, so we could even revisit that entire world altogether, and that being brought back into it, you know.
It's just knowing how to take them out of that storyline, and which I agree with George. Is just that you just make this guy like drunk, and it sucks because it's like you deteriorate his character. I mean, he was a hype, you know, before even AEW. Everybody thought he was going to be the first, you know, AEW world champion.
Yeah, I like the New Japan.
In my opinion.
I like the New Japan version of Hangman Page because he was like, he wore the bandana over his face,
he was
heavy metal music playing, and him and Jay White were rivaling. And he's got some. Jay White still has some unfinished business with Hangman Page, so who knows? He might have to deal with him first. Yeah. It could be Jay White taking that title first, and then Hangman Page taking it from him.
But all I'm saying is that you build this guy up, you give him the Joker in the first buy-in, you let him win, you build this whole thing up. And then you take it away from him. You slap it on Jericho, which is great. You let Jericho be your inaugural champion. Fine. And you build it. You can talk about that atmosphere all day long. Yes, absolutely. Go back. I love that match. I love that whole storyline. I know the match you're talking about exactly. That's one of my favorite matches all time. But the fact of the matter remains, you can't have that atmosphere now because you built up this drunken idiot. Yeah. You can't have it the way it once was. And that's the problem. Yeah. As much as we all love Hangman Page from New Japan, this is not Hangman Page from New Japan. This isn't even Kenny Omega from New Japan. At the end of the day, North Americans bleed differently than Japanese. Japanese respect the culture. They're treated like rock stars. Chase Owens told me in his interview he re-signed because of the way New Japan treats them. They fly. He wasn't even signed under contract. They flew him out there. They put him up in a hotel. They let him bring his wife the first time he came around. A lot of companies don't do that. Vince McMahon would be like, take 3 buses.
I think you still have
McDonald's, too. and you can come over and we'll let you try out, maybe, possibly, not 100% for sure. New Japan treats everybody with respect. Before he touched down over there, he was already a rock star. As much as I appreciate what you're saying, you cannot compare Hangman Page from that time period to this Hangman Page now because it's not the same person. It's not the same storyline, and it's not going to work now. If he's going to dethrone Kenny Omega, he has to dethrone Kenny Omega drunk because that's the only way it makes sense now. and it won't work because Kenny Omega's too fucking good.
That's facts. I hate this facts. I'll be Mr. Weedston. Go ahead, man. What are you?
I agree 100% with you got with my guy George over there, man. Like, I feel they turned him into the Jeff Hardy of the AEW, man. With this whole drinking, like for me, just what George said, I don't like the personal storylines. I don't like personal storylines that hit home that, you know, make people feel some type of way about feelings and emotions, you know. And the drinking thing is a big one for me, you know. So like when they started with that and turned him into a drunk, at first I figured, you know, he might get fixed up, might fix himself up with the Dark Order. But that didn't fall through. So now for me, they didn't even give him a chance at the TNT title, nor did they even mention him in it. And for you to be the number one contender for the world title belt and not even be the number one contender for the TNT television title, it just means you in a win for me.
Okay.
You know, so I'm not sure what to say about Hangman Page. I like the storyline though with him and Matt Hardy right now. So I at least hope they do something right with it.
Yeah. So I mean, now we're in this case. Who should be the one who should dethrone Kenny? So that's the biggest question. Who out of this AEW roster should be the one to dethrone Kenny and his whole Bullet Club commotion? Should it be Jon Moxley again? Go right ahead, George. The floor is yours.
Listen, there's one person I foresee, and they still haven't used him properly because, as Kofi and I did on our one-off, we touched on an oversaturated roster.
Yes.
AEW roster is so full of talent, but
that's the
they don't have
problem.
enough TV time for anybody. It's a big fucking problem.
George,
one person. Yes.
How long ago did we say that?
Oh, we said that back in the summer. The summer when we were all COVID summer.
just to show we was right.
That's right. We were 100%. And the one person I believe can do it because they haven't given him enough time and they pulled him away from Impact and threw a shit ton of money at him. The one person that makes logical sense for me is the Machine Brian Cage. And the reason why I see this is because right now, Brian Cage's one flaw has been the mic. So what do? You put him with a mouthpiece like Taz, all of a sudden stock gets raised. He learns from a master. It's kind of like Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman.
1,000% thinking that. Yeah.
Sorry?
As you said, put Cage with Taz. I'm like, Heyman guy, 1,000%.
Exactly. So you set that up the way that they have, and now it's perfect. And yeah, you've got this little storyline right now running, and Taz is there with his foot soldiers and this and that. But look at the way they're set up. Look at body language. When I went to film school, we had to study still photos. And the trick was when you look at a photo of 5 people, you always see one standing off a little bit to the distance. Go back and watch the latest Dynamite from last time when Taz cut that promo. Pause it. Look at that still frame. Brian Cage is standing further back than anybody else. Why? Yep. Body placement. Why? He's eventually going to tell Taz to go fuck himself, and he's going to blow the whole show apart. And the only reason that he hasn't done it yet is because he's not ready, mic-wise.
No.
But the minute that they get the green light from Taz, I've been working with him. He's good to go. He can go toe-to-toe with Kenny Omega on the mic. In the ring, Brian Cage can dust Kenny Omega. I'll put money on that. All we need is the mic work to build the proper angles, and you got it. So the only person that logically works is Brian Cage. He's built like a fucking machine. They set him up like a fucking machine. And guess what? When they brought him in, he had a protein shake, not a fucking glass of beer.
No. Right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I love it.
That is you need to be a promo teacher if you're not
already.
Oh yeah, he could easy. Oh man, I'm out of words. He's absolutely right though. MGC,
and I did it all with my my COVID faux hawk. Look at me go. I've reached the top.
Now, speaking about all these cross promotions, I want to just touch now with MLW since you're the professional on that. Which I mean, I love how you and Lewis go at it with each other. Give the old guy a break, bro. I mean, I know you kind of kill him sometimes.
He does.
He kills him.
You know why though? Sorry to interrupt for a second. The reason why I do that is because Lewis, I love Lewis. Okay, like we're podcast life partners. We started this show. He hit me up in November. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "I love it. Let's do it." And we got endorsed by Core Power. We've had some great guests on the show. It's been a blast. But the one thing that makes it special is that Lewis always finds a way to correct me. And if you look at we've only got 6 episodes, so go back. There's not a whole lot of content there to watch yet. So go back. And every episode, he's either corrected me on something I've said or the way I've said it or this and that. So eventually, last episode, I just had enough. I said, you know what, Lewis, out of 6 out of 1, You've only admitted you were wrong one time. I've admitted it every episode. I said fuck, the first episode we interviewed Richard Holiday, and I said ratified air. And he's like, it's rarefied. And I was like, fuck, now I'm done. I got to do wall push-ups and shit. Like, it was brutal. It was brutal. So Lewis is my podcast life partner. But as we all know, and I've said it on the show, a lot of times, the reason why I'm asking so many questions because he's changing his depends all the time. But it's just a simple fact of I have to go hard on him because if I don't, his heart will stop. He's not used to me being polite now. I have to go hard, and I have to now. It's almost like a defibrillator. If I don't go hard, he may stop breathing, and I don't want that to happen. I've got to keep going at him. I
agree. So yeah, we saw history was made in MLW. Leo Rush now winning the AAA Cruiserweight, championship. Along that, he's a middleweight champion. So see that's another cross promotion that people are not really much familiar with.
They're sleeping on it.
I agree. And so the floor is yours once again, Mr. Mckay. Let them know what happened and what they should be paying attention to MLW.
Well, they should be paying attention to MLW because they've been the one that's been cross-promoting since about a year ago. Richard Holiday, Savio Vega, IWA title, the Caribbean Championship was taken. That's a big championship for IWA. That's like the heavyweight championship for IWA. And the reason why it's important is because Savio Vega is actually one of the background players in IWA. He owns a major stock in the company, and he was the flagship superstar of the company. Savio Vega is a big draw over there. They love him to death. And when the Caribbean title got stolen, that all of a sudden opened the doors. And now you've got to be paying attention to the interesting fact, which is who is Aztec Underground? Because Aztec Underground has now purchased Promociones Dorado, and they've also made IWA an offer. Now, understand the name, Underground. Mm-hmm. The last time we had a Mexican wrestling show that was called Underground, there was a lucha in front of it.
Yes.
And who was one of the producers, also commentator of Lucha Underground, that is currently the producer of AAA, a man by the name of, a Canadian boy by the name of Vampiro.
Yeah, Vampiro, I got it right. Yeah.
Yes. Right. North Bay proud, running the deep north. But now you take away, don't get me wrong, the AAA champion, whose name is completely escaping me right now, Lucha Kid. Sorry, I can't remember his name now. I'm having a brain fart here. Thank you very much. Him going at Leo Rush and Leo Rush dropping the title, or Leo Rush picking up both titles.
Laredo Kid. Yeah, Laredo Kid.
Laredo Kid. There we go. Thank you. I knew you weren't here just for your hair.
Lucha Kid is the other one.
Yes, Lucha Kid is the other one. Laredo Kid being the AAA Cruiserweight champion, dropping it to the MLW Middleweight champion. What does this mean? This means now that Leo Rush, the man of the hour, is rocking 50K gold, because now it was 25K gold when he won the middleweight title. So now you got to balance it out, 50K gold.
Yeah.
But it's
he actually has 3 titles.
He does, but he can't bring the other one on camera. He can't do that. He's got.
Which one is the third one? I forgot which is the third one.
He has a television title.
For who?
And I can't. Memphis something. I really don't know the league.
Oh, that's an indie promotion. That's not a top tier right now. You got to represent the top ones, right? So he's got. Yeah, well, fair enough. He's got a lot of gold. Let's leave it at that. Mm-hmm. But him winning that makes it very significant. Why? Because Leo Rush and Vampiro have personal history, a friendship. He cut his teeth training under Vampiro. Vampiro was one of the trainers that he had. Go back and research it. It's there. It's all on the web.
Yes, it is.
So all this leads up to one thing. Lucha Underground, Vampiro, AAA, they're all coming over. Court Bauer's been setting this up for 2 years. And now you add IWA to the mix. We're going to get some of that great Puerto Rican talent. And what does Vince McMahon do to counteract this? He brings back the other half of IWA, Carlito.
That's it.
The Carlito's family has major stake, the Colones in IWA. Mm-hmm. So how do you counteract that? Well, Court Bauer counteracts it simply by saying, hey, Savio, we give you more TV time. We give you a chance to be semi-relevant again in North America. Mm-hmm. And we take your 60% over the Colones 40%, and then we absolve IWA. But why did Vince bring back Carlito at around the exact same time period? Because, in my honest opinion, this whole thing, and I know Chris is gonna now have a bromance with me, conspiracy theory.
Hey, I got another one. I got another one for you. We'll get to. We'll have to backtrack on a topic, but I'll let you finish.
Absolutely. So I'm one more minute and I'm done. Conspiracy theory. Vince McMahon, Ted Turner had a secret conversation back in 1995.
Is this a fact or is this part of the theory?
No, this is just a conspiracy theory in my head.
Okay, I got you.
They had a conversation back and they said, how do we make a lot of money? Ted said, well, I'm in the wrestling business. The conversation never happened. That's what they all say, but that never happened.
Oh, shit. Vince, the follow-up to that was Vince said, I'm in the entertainment business.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Vince, the actual conversation, in my opinion, was Vince saying, listen, you just bought WCW. I'm going to give you all my old guys. You keep them over there, keep them relevant. Let me build up young talent, and then we'll have a war. We'll split apart. We're going to make a shit ton of money. Then I'll buy WCW. Now Court Bauer's doing the exact same program. But Vince McMahon is also there. Tony Khan is also fucking there. Scott D'Amore is also fucking there. And they're all in front of us doing this. Dance, puppets, dance. Oh, everybody's making a shit ton of money right now because this is the hottest pop culture that wrestling has ever been since the late 90s. Wrestling is relevant again to people who don't pay the fuck attention. So as much as you want to say it, there's one key rule here, guys. The house always wins.
Yeah.
And the house is like a pyramid scheme. Vince McMahon, and it trickles down. That's it, plain and simple. They're all involved. They're all in cahoots. They've stationed Bullet Club members anywhere. Ivan said it the best. How else do you put a super show on without the WWE? You can't. You cannot. You can't. So you have to include the WWE some way, shape, or form. And Vince is behind them all going 1, 2, 50, 3, 4, 5. Like, that's just straight up facts. It's been a conspiracy theory from day one, and I firmly believe that. So go ahead, Chris. Tell the world that you and I are best friends. Ivan's still my best friend. Kofi's my boy, but you and I are kind of best friends now.
That is not unreasonably logical. I love that idea. That makes a lot of sense. Throwing Vince into the mix on the current situation right now is an outstanding idea that isn't unrealistic as well, considering he's the first billionaire in an entertainment that has the word sports involved in it as well, because I don't think I don't even think Steinbrenner from the Yankees has hit $1 billion, which is absurd because baseball in the Yankees is like the most profitable actual sport in the history of all time ever, and Vince just blew him out of the water.
I don't know about that.
Hold on, you mentioned the Yankees. I just got to change my hat on something. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're all good, man. Yeah. Socky strong.
Socks.
No. You take that hat off. You know how I feel about it. Now you're not my friend anymore.
Right, fine. I just had to do it for Chris. Don't get sensitive.
Oh man, you know how the Yanks feel about those guys.
Fenway at Sox.
Are you still sour about that Johnny Damon beard shave?
Oh man.
Dude, that was 20 years ago, and I'm still kind of upset about that.
Don't play that.
I can't believe you shot Derek Jeter. You shot the Mulatto Angel. Oh, Mark Wahlberg. I love it.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Nothing about that seems unrealistic, and Vince is smart enough that I wouldn't put it past him to have his foot in the current door now with Tony Khan. Damn. Yeah. I have no rebuttals with that. I can't say that that's crazy because it's not. Because crazier things have been reality in the business, so it is just not illogical at all.
No, it's not.
My little tiny conspiracy to your giant white whale, man, doesn't compare at all. So I don't even know if it's worth bringing up. But I had this theory during the Elite angle that was leading up to the breakup of Omega and Hangman Page, and them fighting. And they always going out to the bar, Kenny drinking milk, Kenny drinking whatever was free. Was that Kenny was going to pretend to be drunk and he was drinking water the whole time. Pull a Jeff Hardy, show up to their match, pretending to be drunk, stumbling, fumbling, bumbling, taking a bump or two, and then being like, just kidding, I'm sober, and smoking the shit out of Kenny Omega and winning the title that way. I would have loved that story. I think it may have been, I don't think that was ever even brought up ever. That's just me, just wishful thinking, a fantastic storyline. But they still could be, I could apply that now to the Matt Hardy thing. Like, oh, I signed this contract when I was hammered. What's on camera? It's like, well, in contracts, you have to be within your senses to sign a contract. They could still pull that off. But I don't think so. It would have been a much better payoff when Kenny beat him the third time, essentially, the second time in Dynamite. But I think that storyline is very reminiscent of Tommy Dreamer and Raven. And I've said it before, where Tommy Dreamer never beat Raven. And then that one time he beats him, it's the payoff of the century. But you made a great point that they can't do that anytime soon because his version of Hangman Page is just, and it's not Adam's fault. It's Ryder's fault. He's not, I mean, how much say he has in his character, if he has any, he's approving it, but it's not entirely up to him.
Yeah.
And it's not the version of Hangman Page you want to be the champion either, because they are making light of demons. Literally, they're almost, without thinking about it, there's no way they're not thinking about it, mocking Jeff Hardy, who has since greenlighted his own stories that mock his own addiction. But so many people are going through that. I've had similar problems, not to the extent that Jeff Hardy went through. I would even not consider them problems by the comparison of a lot of people out there. But to make light of anyone's demons isn't tasteful, I guess you could say. Whether, like you said, there's been suicide angles, there's been drunk angles, the boss man angle at WrestleMania 15, they killed the guy.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible, but it is unfortunate. We are in the entertainment business, so that's what it is, basically. I mean,
there's a bullshit phrase, and we can say this.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Here we are talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's content, so it's controversial, so it's television. Here we are in an obscure podcast talking about this thing that's happening.
That's why this man likes to piss people off. That's why, whether you love him or hate him, he likes to piss people off. He pissed people off with the whole Royal Rumble thing. Look what happened.
You know? But I'm in love. I'm in love with that Vince McMahon, Ted Turner theory. I love that. That makes all the sense in the goddamn world. But the payoff is the payoff. You think that Vince is in on this to build a super show that does include WWE, that's going to be somewhere near a WrestleMania or other part of the year that does include the 5 majors from 5 different countries? Is that what you think this payoff is going to be?
I do. I think it's going to be a once a year thing, or once every couple of years, where you get the best of each fucking company and you put them together for the ultimate showdown. You put them together for the ultimate. It's like a turf war, like West Side Story without the singing and the dancing.
There you go.
Bring your 5 best. I bring my 5 best. You bring your 5 best. Let's throw the fuck down.
It's like when Pride and UFC had that tournament back in like 2000.
Exactly. And when that would be, and that shit's still being talked about today. Why? Because
I just brought it up, and I can remember half that card and who beat who in what round by what. Chuck beat Alistair and Guy Mesger. Rampage beat Chuck. Vanderlei beat Rampage. Like that's how prominent. That's how important that card was. That it's still relevant and noted to this day.
All right, for me, even going back to the MLW and the Leo Rush thing, I see everybody, basically coming together and doing that. But to me, for WWE, it all stems down to merchandise money. Because that's WWE's main thing. You know what I'm saying? So it all stems down to who's gonna get the merchandise money for me.
I like that sentence, because do you know who's making the most money in WWE merchandising right now, raking in $500,000 in the past 5 days?
Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny, motherfuckers. Outselling Roman Reigns in 2 appearances. I think it was the Rumble, and then he had like a Raw appearance or something like that.
Yeah.
3 already, because he came by this past Raw.
He is hitting fat fucking stacks, and I don't know what his music sounds like, but I can appreciate that he's doing that.
I love Bad Bunny, man. Chumbea. Come on, man. That shit's fire.
I believe it is. I'm sure there's a reason that he's selling that much money. But yeah, Vince knows sometimes he knocks it out of the park, even when that park is as big as the universe. I don't want to say accidentally gets it right, because he is where he is.
I say that because AEW, we don't have to worry about them getting merchandise money. Say you do have these other big companies, Impact and MLW. Now, Impact and MLW don't have merch money. I don't really know too much about merch or about MLW and Impact. You know what I'm saying? So you got these little companies that probably won't get anything. So you look at AEW and WWE, they monsters compared to these little companies. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna get that merch? That's how I look at it. Like when it comes to the big dog WWE, they don't never gotta team up with nobody if they ever want to.
Right.
Why? Because they got longevity over everybody.
Just made $4 billion selling all the content to the Peacock network. He's good.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Like they will never have, if they don't never want to do nothing with nobody, they don't have to. They wait till your company go on there and buy you.
But in this particular moment, I appreciate what you're saying, brother, and I love you for it. But in this particular moment, you can't have a super showdown without WWE. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Like you could call it that, but you can't. You couldn't.
They had all out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah, when they had All Out, yes.
But that was more indie.
we're talking about bringing a bunch of major companies together now.
Yeah, but I look at it like, also like, do you want WWE's guys to win all the matches?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how do you book that to where Vince doesn't feel like his
You're
ego?
not.
Go ahead, my bad.
Like, I wouldn't even know how to book it because
It's
now
a
you
big
know
question
Vince
mark.
is not. Yeah, because Vince is not gonna let his guys go under. You're not gonna let your guys go under.
It's gonna be Nexus all over again.
Oh shit! Next. All right, David Otunga's on his way back. Everybody make fucking room.
Oh shit!
Leaving Jennifer Hudson at home for that one.
Oh man!
Didn't Jennifer Hudson divorce him and then try to take his child?
Did that happen?
she
Oh no,
already
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
she already
so it's all good. Jennifer
I
Hudson.
was
Jennifer
ill
Hudson's
informed.
not
I
around.
didn't know that beautiful relationship came to an end.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
My bad.
Here.
Wasn't too beautiful.
I thought I knew some things.
You're behind on your pop culture, brother. It's
I'm
okay.
behind on my
definitely.
TMZ has failed me. Yeah, for sure.
Oh man!
I want to hear what Matt had to say, man. You haven't said anything. You talk to me.
No, for
everyone. You hear this
like any of
debate,
this,
man.
man.
Any of
no.
this,
So regarding the big super show, like I'd say Triple A and New Japan are very big companies all over together. But one big benefit of that all these have is all the different titles. So I actually did a count of how many different titles, how many just male singles titles that's up for competition if with this big, merger, just New Japan, so there's over, like, I estimate about like 26 different singles titles just on the men's side of the coin,
Right.
just AEW World Title, TNT, US IWGP, the AAA Cruiserweight, Ring of Honor TV title, X Division, TNA, and and just over all those belts, you have something to keep all the different people on the card busy. It's just AEW is the one who has the most network, like US TV network exposure. So that would just be the place where you could see like have the most audience compete for your belt. In the meantime, so the thing me and Ivan talked about for the big super show is the location. The place I had in mind was the Indianapolis 500 because that's the largest venue
Outdoors.
in the free world.
Outdoors, I love outdoor arenas.
Yeah, outdoor, and the capacity is 200,000 people.
It can hold more than that. Like,
What's Dallas?
500,000 it could put.
Yeah.
You could put 500,000 people there, and in the Indy for sure.
Indianapolis 500.
Mm-hmm.
So. And the popularity of AAA amongst our Mexican American population alone, that's plenty. If we see how, like, I was so ignorant to AAA before up until recently, just looking into their popularity. I looked at how big Triple Mania shows are and how much they fill out, and just how like extreme like the Lucha Libre audiences are. They bring whole drum kits to their shows, so. So just a little bit of that, and like that New Japan crowd and that AEW crowd and all the indies combined, so doing what they got to do.
Do not get me wrong. They could probably still do it without WWE.
Mm-hmm.
How Kofi says they don't need them. That's fine. They did all in. They could do it again. But it's just like I said, they're always like how you mentioned about who's going to put who over, what territory is going to be like the top one. It's going to be like, oh shit, out of all the super show, this guy won. So you see how like CMLL or Ring of Honor or CMLL with New Japan or Ring of Honor, they see how they, they always match up even. Sometimes one year this promotion goes over, the other one doesn't, It's on and forth, back and forth.
Nakamura dropping the Intercontinental title to La Sombra.
Yeah.
So
Andrade.
Yeah. We now know as Andrade.
Yeah. All right, so I want to ask now one last question because I know we talked about this. I think we were Joe from the ring, and I want to get George's input. I did hear your conspiracy theory about Kevin Owens. I loved it, by the way. I was rooting for that. I was definitely. If that shit would have happened, I would have been messaging you like, I'll be like, I fucking love you, man. You said it right. I wanted that to happen. I wanted Kevin Owens to come.
Me too.
I want him to be in the Rumble because as much as the people will probably say, "Nah, I'm tired of this." I'm not. I love this Kevin Owens and what I'm seeing.
Yeah, definitely.
So right now, I will ask you fellas, now with Vince McMahon pissing everybody off, he had Edge winning. It's, I know he does this on purpose. He wants us to be intrigued, to tune in the fucking channel to see who's he gonna challenge. Who should he challenge? We already heard so many other podcasters that they give their assumptions, but we haven't heard from each other. So, Mr. Mckay, talk to me. Where do you see this Edge storyline go? Where do you see him going?
Well, I see it. I definitely do see it. NXT. I mean, he's showing up everywhere. He's not really saying too much. He's just kind of eye-fucking each champion. Obviously,
that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Obviously, I mean, the logical choice would be that you want him to go after Roman. You want him to go after the head of the table. But also, him against Drew is a great matchup as well. But then I think, fuck, him against Finn, I'd love to see that young versus old, new versus old school. I'd love to see that. Or even him versus Pete. Because Pete can dissect a body, but don't let Edge fool you. Everybody knows Edge for a spear. Everybody knows Edge for, what he can do. But Edge is also, his ring IQ is insane. He's more of a cerebral assassin than my boy Triple H ever possibly could be. And I've now put that on wax. I put that on wax. I love Triple H. I've never thought about it. I'm a Triple H guy. But straight up, Edge's ring IQ is 10 times higher than Triple H's ever would be. And that's just the truth of the matter. So him and Pete Dunne, for me, is a slam dunk because you got somebody who can manipulate the body, but you got somebody like Edge who can tell one of the best stories in the ring. Go back and watch 2006 John Cena versus Edge, tables, ladders, and chairs match at the ACC. I was fucking there, screaming my head off for John Cena. But at the same time, being Canadian, I'm like, fuck, I want Edge to win. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck it, he's gonna go home and fuck Lita, so he's still gonna win. So at the end of the day, there was wins all around that day. And you know what? Hands down, that was one of my favorite matches of all time because I was there. And it took Cena to put Edge through 3 tables from a 20-foot ladder to secure that fucking win. So yeah, Edge can tell a story. Edge can sell. And how else do you put over a guy like Pete Dunne by putting him in the ring with somebody like Edge, who can tell a story, who can manipulate your emotions and your feelings? That leaves Roman Reigns wide open. And in my opinion, Kevin Owens from Roman Reigns, we need a best of 7. So the logical choice for that is the Elimination Chamber. They either always put the straps on the line in that, or they always do an number 1 contenders match.
That's how Kofi got it.
Slide Kevin Owens right back into the mix. You have him win at Elimination Chamber. We get a beeline to that main event. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, which we are fucking due for Kevin Owens to main event of WrestleMania. 3 matches main eventing that night. I'm okay with that. Kevin Owens walks out the strap. We haven't had a Canadian champion in a very long fucking time. We are overdue.
I'd like to think about that while you're talking.
I love Roman Reigns' character now because of Paul Heyman and what he's done and how he's helped him grow on his mic skills, because Roman's mic skills were lacking, i.e. Taz, Brian Cage. Oh my God, it's all coming together.
Right, so there you go.
The fact is that Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, the best way to do it is to do a number 1 contenders match at the EC pay-per-view and have Kevin Owens make a beeline right for that main event. And he has to go after Roman because the story that was told, he almost had that win. When he handcuffed him, I was marking out hard like a motherfucker. I was like, oh my God, he's handcuffing him. Yes, beat that Samoan son of a bitch to his fucking knees, feed him Paul Heyman's cock. I was all about that, and it never happened. It didn't happen. I was really this close, but it didn't happen. But honestly and truly, that's my conspiracy theory for that. Kevin Owens, beeline, Roman Reigns. And as for who's going to face Drew McIntyre, the door's wide open, but I would love to see, not Randy Orton, I would love to see the Fiend come back in some kind of way.
Mike would be excited right now.
I don't know how they would work it. Maybe do a triple threat. Somehow Randy Orton in the mix, and then the Fiend comes in just to dethrone everybody. But the Fiend was the best thing they were doing. Alexa Bliss as a demented, sexy goddess was amazing. And
statement of the year, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So all I could say is that WWE, they're playing the long game, the extremely long game, but this year's WrestleMania, it's a 2-nighter just like last year's was. And I assure you, it'll be very entertaining, and we won't have to stay up 7 hours to watch it. We only have to stay up 3 each night. That's good. We get a little bit of a break, a little bit. So honestly, that's the way I see it playing out. I see the Fiend working his way back in some shape or form. Randy Orton with Drew McIntyre ties that whole Fiend storyline in. And as much as Jofo said,
even though I've interviewed a couple WWE guys, I don't have an in. I really don't. This is just all off the top of my head. I promise you.
He wrote that down somewhere.
Yeah, he wrote it down somewhere. That's what he was doing the whole time on his phone. He was just,
student of the game.
He was just waiting. Yeah,
appreciated.
Mr. Weedston, the floor is yours.
I totally forgot what the question was.
Well, okay, so Edge.
The whole Edge main event. Kevin Owens circle.
I rambled. My apologies. I rambled. I'm sorry.
For me, I see him fighting Roman Reigns. Go where the merch is. Go with him. You make the most money.
So Reigns versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. Just book it now, bro.
On a forklift match.
Did I catch Kofi? Did he bounce?
Yeah, he bounced because he's like, you know what, good night, everybody.
Hey man, he wasn't wrong. You said it. You said merch makes money, and that ain't a lie.
I'm just gonna go say I would like to see him fight Finn Balor. Like George said, the new versus the old, plus Finn Balor's a great wrestler. I would like to actually see it. Plus the promo he cut. Then after that with the cross thing. So I actually would like to see that. I would like to see him on NXT. It would bring a new exposure to NXT. But I just see him. They're gonna let him fight Roman. Simple as that. Drew McIntyre is gonna go on to fight another old guy probably. Who knows?
I hope not. I hope
it's Hogan again. No.
No.
That'll be the worst.
At the Superdome. I mean Sundome. I mean, oh shit, Dome.
Word. Old home.
The Silver Dome.
Where he should stay is at home and not be in a ring.
The home dome.
Let me just put my teeth in, brother, and then I'll
my Christ.
He just keeps going. No, it's gonna be Ric Flair. No.
No, Ric Flair's gonna knock up Lacey Evans. Side note: Charlotte Flair's gonna have a sister.
Legal disclaimer to one Mr. Terry Bollea. Please don't sue us. We are not.
All we gotta do is eat at the restaurant. We'll be okay.
In the morning or whoever that was.
I'm gonna eat at his restaurant. He appears in my dreams, so I can't. Hogan shows up in my dreams, so he can't sue me.
All right.
He needs
like
to get
the
out of
Bliss
my
shows
brain.
up in mine, so I'm okay.
Oh man, I love it. CK1.
Yeah. I said this before. I'm not trying to say go watch episodes. George had mentioned,
you should.
Yeah, well, it's all good. I'll make it short. But George had mentioned that Edge is fucking all the champions, and on the first Raw after he had won the Rumble, they said, which champion is Edge going to challenge for? Is it going to be Roman Reigns on SmackDown or Drew McIntyre on Raw? And immediately, because they left out Finn, I'm like, oh, he's going for Finn. It was just this weird intuition I had where they leave out the truth through a mission is a phrase. And then they, I think later in that segment, that episode, they had said showing up on Wednesday, Edge makes an appearance in NXT. I'm like, fucking easy call right there. Now, whether or not Edge beats or Finn beats Pete Dunne, I would rather see Edge and Finn Balor. That to me is a faster, more exciting match, where a Pete Dunne and Edge match is a completely different story. It's a little bit more classic style. It's going to be more like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels style, where Edge and Finn Balor is going to be more like Edge and Finn Balor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would rather see Finn and Edge winning that, and then maybe Pete beating Edge at some point. But I do think that they're going to put Edge on NXT to win the ratings war, to bring eyes to people that don't know NXT is even a thing yet, which shame on you. If you're out there and you're watching, it's your fault you don't know what NXT is.
I should go for the marks for AEW marks.
Well, I'm both, man. They're
both overall, everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, shit.
I get to watch both. I mean, there's avenues with which I don't have to flip between the two channels like Kofi does. I don't know if you've heard of the internet.
Exactly.
This isn't 1999 where I have to jump from Nitro to Raw within the blink of.
I do it.
I mean, we've got TiVo, and we got you don't have to have two VHS tapes.
Yeah, we totally have absolutely paid for legal streaming services to watch the footage of whatever.
And illegal ones too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about, bro?
I'm very old.
And then to harp on the Kevin Owens thing versus Roman Reigns, it is time to see the Kevin Owens we all know he can be. the bad Canuck that can fuck you up. Write that down. I just made that up. Holy shit.
I'm the rhymer here. Chris stole my rhyming gimmick.
I promise you, as I said that, I wrote that. I am not that clever.
It's like
But
the
that's-
emo
that's-
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, that's the fight, Owens fight. Or what is his old name that he went by before he was in PWG? Not Kevin Owens, was it? Was it something
Kevin
else?
Steen.
Steen kill.
Kevin Steen. Yeah,
baby.
Fight Steen fight or whatever it was. Yeah.
Kill Steen kill.
Yeah.
Steam kill. That was like
I still have that shirt. I love it.
That's
Ooh.
him. That's who he is. He's great on the mic. He's had some of the biggest boos I've ever heard when he did that segment with Elias when he was talking shit on some basketball team in whatever fucking city. I think Oregon. And
yeah.
It was like 10 minutes of just boos. It was fantastic. I love that. So we know he can dominate the mic. Doesn't need to be a Heyman guy. He can be a beloved face, a beloved heel. I don't give a shit
The
that he's
festival of friendship.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. I don't give a shit that he's not shredded beef, that he never takes his shirt off. Please don't. I wish he would finish his sleeves because it bugs me that he has just a random Jurassic Park. He has literally Luchasaurus right here, and it's the placement's all fucked up. Finish your tattoos, win the title at WrestleMania, go on to be the biggest version of whatever you deserve to be. But yeah, that's the only thing. You don't want to see Roman Reigns win another WrestleMania, even as a great heel. It's just done. We're done with Roman Reigns holding a belt for the next 5 to 6 years. And I love the guy. It's not his fault that he accepted big money for big primetime spots on TV. I would do the same right now. He's a great heel, but I think he's going the same way that he went as a face, where it's like, all right, we're good. We got it. Okay. You know, that's what we're doing now with the head of the table thing. That storyline's kind of coming to an end. Unless he goes and takes out like the rest of the family, like Tamina, like Nia, like The Rock. I mean, that's the rest of the storyline's already done. He took out his cousins. He's not going after Rikishi. What's left? I mean, unless he does go after those people, like I said, which would be awesome. Kind of like yeah. But
Well, Tamina, just take her out at the knees. It's easy.
yeah,
Just blow. She'll fall right over.
right. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Is I think Edge wins at Takeover. I think they're doing Takeover the day before WrestleMania per usual.
Yeah, but I don't think. But the thing is, they're gonna have the NXT World Championship at WrestleMania, so they're not gonna have it at Takeover.
I don't get
That's
better.
already.
I like that even more.
Yeah,
That's
because it's a 2-night event, so they have to. So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
main,
You
the
gotta
main,
fill the spots for sure.
yes, because it has to be. It's 4 main events, 2 in each day, but we don't even know how they're gonna do it because that means
Yeah, I think the NXT should stick to NXT if you're doing a weekend event, because the whole thing about Takeover is the premier event, and you're not having your champion defend on that particular event. That's like having the Super Bowl at a house show and not at Angel,
yeah, but the problem is that if they're gonna have fans in attendance, they don't want to take a risk of taking their NXT roster to be there to do an event at a live show.
Well, now you're just talking logic and semantics and science, and those are big
Well,
words.
bro, I have to,
Yo,
man.
Get
Now you're
out of
just
here,
talking real.
guys.
Now you're just
All
talking
right.
in the plethora of where we
I
exist.
gotta get out of here. I'm gonna talk to you guys later. I gotta go.
All right, Kofi. All right,
brother.
man.
Take care,
Yeah.
Kofi.
Love you.
Love you, man. Appreciate you for joining. Oh man, I love it. But shit. I'm not happy.
Yeah, okay, now that makes sense, but that's just logistics.
Yeah,
That's not because they want to. That's because they have to.
yeah. No, I agree. I know Matt already said Finn and Edge, but
Yeah, in the previous, because know I like the style that Finn implores to see that onto Edge, especially like
They're
I've been
very similar, fast paced, a lot of chain speed wrestling where Pete Dunne will just slow Edge down to a halt with a small joint manipulation, a couple of big slams, which is great. I love that style. But I want to see electricity in that ring with those two, with Edge and
Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Finn's
right.
got that jumping drop kick,
It's pretty good.
definitely. All right. Well, I want to go ahead and thank George. I appreciate you, brother. I hate to, I know it's already 9:49, about to be 10 o'clock over there, but I appreciate you for, joining us in this part 1. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not checked out his podcast, I will highly recommend it. You will go ahead and the description will be right below. It's Straight Talk Wrestling Podcast. He's the only man that's done different content as well. He has, of course, the mini host, the Queen of Podcast. She is the queen. So she is the queen of podcasts, bro. And George knows it. That's why I always comment every time. And she's incredible, man. She does great 5 questions. I love the one she did with with Chris.
Who is? Does she have a favorite all time yet, or is she too young to really have seen the?
No, she does. She does. Her favorite all time, her dream interview is Sasha Banks. So
I love it.
That's her girl. She's been down with Sasha Banks from day one. She was never a Bailey kid. She's always been a Sasha kid. Nice. And Sasha Banks would be the dream interview for her. Sasha Banks, and when she was younger, she had a little bit of a stammer. So when Chris Jericho came out like last year with a little bit of the bubble, she'd be walking around going, "Dad, should we get a little bit of the bubble?"
So she's turned her speech impediment into a drunken gimmick.
Exactly. No, never would. But she is.
I know. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Absolutely. No, I get
that's you. Awesome. I think Sasha is a nice enough person on the inside to where if she got word of a 10-year-old marking out wanting to interview her, I mean, pending how management works. Pending how management works, because I know WWE's got the stranglehold on excessive content.
They have to go to like 10 people to approve it. They have to go to like 10 people to approve that shit.
And then Vince's door. And
then Vince's door. And he just look at it like,
I'm not in the mood for it.
I don't care, pal. That's how it,
you guys know exactly how it's going to go, so there's no point.
I mean, I work for a corporate company, bro, so I already know how that shit works. Man. It was from a supervisor.
Red tape.
But besides me mentioning, putting your plugins, let the viewers know yourself as well. Let them know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at _@Straight Talk, and on Instagram and Facebook, Straight Talk Wrestling, and on YouTube, just Straight Talk Wrestling. And the mini host drops an episode every Saturday at 2 p.m. I drop a new episode every Thursday, but sometimes I have so much content that I got to do it twice in a week. I'm dropping 2 more next week, so keep an eye out for that. And the mini host has got a good one coming up with Jeremy Prophet this Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I'll let you guys know on a couple other ones. I shared a photo earlier in this week. We got Izzy, the ultimate WWE fan. She's dropping in a few weeks. And we also sat down.
Are you talking about Bailey girl?
Yeah.
Bailey girl.
Yeah, Bailey girl. She's wrestling. She debuted at like 13.
She's not wrestling. She's training right now. And
I've seen her in the ring, but maybe they were just like exhibition training matches.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. But she actually found the mini host on Instagram, which you can follow her as well. She's at the mini host. She found her on Instagram. She followed her. They started talking. Mini host invited her on, and we set it up. So the mini host booked that one.
That is amazing. I still love when Sasha Banks made her cry during that takeover match versus Bailey. But then after the match, when Bailey whooped some ass, she came over. Or when Banks beat Bailey, she came over. They hugged it out, hug life.
Exactly.
I was a very sincere I won't say old school. NXT's only been around for like 7 years. Old school NXT moment right there with Izzy and Banks and Bailey. That whole little fandom going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was we talked a little bit about that in the interview, or they did in the interview. So be sure to check out for that one. And another one, I guess another plug we'll do is she got my boy TJP. I had him on the show. She got him back. She's sitting down with TJP in a few weeks. So
yes,
honestly, it's been a whirlwind of a lot of and now that we've had some great guests on the show, I'm hitting them up for her, and they're being more than accepting. And a lot of wrestlers have actually hit us up. So I got a few more in the can I can't talk about right now because of red tape.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. But you guys will see him for sure. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the love. Ivan, you have been a big supporter down from day one. And you two other guys are fantastic as well. Chris, and even you with your fantastic hair. I'm not even
beautiful.
Matt.
I know it's
I usually wear a hat, so
I know you do.
That hair is the thing Shinagamis are made out of.
Yeah, true story.
Okay. Listen, man, it's all love. And when Thunder Rosa's boot is firmly up her ass, we'll be friends.
Mckay.
Still be friends.
That rivalry is going to continue on for a while.
Brother, I love you very much, man. I hope that we can have you back, man. We want to have you back.
Absolutely, man. This job, this is not even a job. We're professional marks having fun. And the quarantine and this past 2 years are the best times to be a wrestling fan, like you said. And I can't believe that we just get to sit here in our bedrooms and talk to our heroes and people that are changing lives and entertaining the world throughout this global bastard. I still can't believe I'm just here right now with you guys. This is insane. So networking out to other podcasts from at least 3 or 4 different other countries, it's absurd. And I couldn't have been more grateful to have everyone we've ever had on any one of our podcasts on, including George, who I can't wait to watch that interview with Izzy, man. That's going to be fantastic.
Man.
George, I'll say one of the biggest advantages you have, especially having your daughter involved, is the fact that your podcast is going to carry on for at least over 20 years. with her taking the flag.
Absolutely.
Probably more, maybe into 40, 50 years at least, at minimum.
That's what,
I mean, people are living longer. We'll be cyborgs. I'll be like a 500-year-old robot, half robot, like watching your show.
I'll make sure that my future kids, stay on it and make sure they pay attention. Because I know my kids are going to be doing this anyways. They'll be doing something.
I'm definitely raising my kids on wrestling. That's for darn sure. Wrestling,
me too.
Jurassic Park, Ninja Turtles, and then whatever. The lady,
I'll be an android.
Lady gets
I'll still be alive.
Well,
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Make sure you watch after this. You will see the commercials that we released. Will be released now, so you'll watch both the first part, and then on part 2, which we're going to be joined by David Gomez, the owner of the Wrestling Guy store, as we're going to discuss about the commercial and more to come with him. So we'll be right back.
Are we putting it between this episode and the next, or in the middle of next episode?
The end of this, the beginning of the other one.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
I
can't wait to watch it.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much. It's my bedtime. I gotta go.
All right, brother man.
All right, good night.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Goodbye and good night.
All right.
Recorded in front of a live studio audience in Los Angeles, California.
Aren't you a little old for toys?
I'm not old. I'm a wrestling guy. And at the Wrestling Guy store, you can be too.
Are you buying this for your kid?
No, I'm buying it for me because I'm a wrestling guy. And at the Wrestling Guy store, you can be too.
Aren't toys for kids?
I'm not a kid. I'm a wrestling guy. And at the Wrestling Guy store, you can be too. We're all wrestling guys. And at the Wrestling Guy store, you can be too.
The Wrestling Guy store, located at 6085 State Street, Huntington Park, California, just 5 miles west of the Commerce Casino.